Welcome to our IB Personal Project Advisory Lesson number 2, Project Proposal on Demand. So our activator was, would either of these count as a personal project? Why or why not? So option 1, a student enjoys hip hop. So they listen, watch hip hop videos and analyzes original artists from the 1980s to more recent artists to compare lyrics and video elements. They create a video on how those elements have changed over time. The second idea, a student likes to listen to hip hop. They watch videos every day from different artists. So which one of those is a personal project? If you guessed number 1, you are right. So a personal project must have research. The student would research artist work from both time periods. It must have a learning goal. So the student in the example number 1 would learn about the changes in lyrics and video elements in hip hop. That would be their goal, what they want to learn by the end. And it has a product. The student will produce a video that explains their comparison and their analysis. So personal projects must have that research. They must have a learning goal, something you want to learn by the end, and they must have a product, something you're producing. So what could be some other projects though? So if you're starting with this interest of hip hop, one option is to make that YouTube video, but what are some other options for projects? So a student could write their own lyrics influenced by their research into different artists. They could create an interactive map of New York with artist birthplace and information from their research. They could create a visual art piece such as collage to highlight their research. So starting with one passion, you really have an infinite number of products that you could create depending on what you're interested in learning, so your learning goal, and what product you'd like to create. Sometimes it's helpful to think of the skills you want to learn along the way. So if you like video editing, or you like visual art, or you like photography, or you want to learn how to build a website, thinking about those skills can help you figure out what product might be the best fit for you. Good morning, guys. My name is Ms. Beecraft. I'm the MYP coordinator, and today we're talking about the personal project again. So just a review of what we did last advisory. We brainstormed. So on 10/26, you started brainstorming your ideas. You learned about what the personal project was. If you missed that lesson, you can go into our MYP Canvas course, and there's on-demand lessons, which is a recording of the whole lesson from last advisory in case you missed it. Today, we're going to be talking about formalizing our brainstorming into a project proposal. Then on Tuesday, November 16th, you're going to meet with your staff supervisor, which we'll talk about in just a moment. And then we're going to start planning your actual project. So today we'll discuss the benefits of the personal project, evaluate your brainstorming ideas and refine them into a proposal, and determine each student's SVHS supervisor. And we're really focusing on those ATL skills of thinking, specifically creative thinking. So creating original works and ideas through your project proposal. So previously, you brainstormed your ideas. What things are you passionate and interested? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do outside of school or inside of school with clubs? And today we're going to take those big ideas and hone them into a personal project proposal. So let's get started. So why should you do this personal project? So when you complete the personal project, you can get a 0.5 elective credit, and on your transcript, it says MYP Research Seminar, which is really impressive. So when you submit your transcripts for scholarship, if you show up for a job or a college application, they'll see that on your transcript. You can also gain 20 SSL hours when you complete your project. And you're learning and practicing skills through real-world student choice tasks. So you get to practice skills that you need for college, career, and life, but on a subject that you choose and a project you design. You can build your toolbox in case you're interested in going into IB courses and continuing being an IB student in 11th and 12th grade, or participating in our IB diploma program or IB career-related program. All of those options look great on college and career and can prepare you for life after Seneca. And then you have something unique to talk about when you're interviewing for a job or you're in a college interview. You've got a really unique experience that you can share. So just a reminder that the personal project starts with you. It starts with your passions, your interests, your hobbies, your extracurriculars, and then we're going to formalize those and extend them through setting a learning goal, research, action planning, and creating a project. And we're going to work together on this over several months. So today we're taking those passions, interests, hobbies, extracurriculars, that brainstorming, and we're narrowing it down to a project proposal, which has a learning goal. So what do you want to learn by the end? And then also a product, something that you're producing by the end of your personal project. So just a review, it should be something you like, right? You're going to be spending a couple months working through this process. So you need to start with something you enjoy. You should find something that challenges you. We want it to be possible within the time frame and within the materials, but it should be challenging and yet still possible. So it's a balance between those two things. You have to have a goal, so something you want to learn by the end, and a final product that allows you to measure your success. So we'll talk about that, but you actually determine how you will measure your success, and then you'll evaluate yourself at the end. And that should be something school appropriate and safe. All right, so let's do an example together. Miss Beecraft wants to do a personal project on growing tomatoes, which is true. I love my garden. She loves it, and that's something she's passionate about. However, this would be challenging or impossible because I can't grow tomatoes outside starting in October, November through February. She could only do this project if I have access to a large enough greenhouse. If not, I'm going to have to switch ideas. So just a reminder of our checklist. It is something I enjoy. It will challenge me, but it's not possible with that time frame and materials. I could have a goal. I want to learn how to grow tomatoes. I would have a final product, and it would be school appropriate and safe. But I'm missing that very important piece. So there are still options. I could switch to a different project. I could research and build a website about tomatoes. I could make a YouTube channel about growing tomatoes. Or maybe I'm going to talk to our horticulture club and my science teacher and work to use a beautiful new greenhouse at Seneca Valley. If I decide to go through with this idea, my learning goal would be learn how to grow tomatoes. And my product would be to successfully grow 3 different types of tomatoes. So that's what you're working towards today, taking that passion, going through our checklist, seeing if it will work as a personal project, and then identifying your learning goal and your product. Who's here to support you? So obviously I'm going to support you guys from the start of this all the way through the end. I organize the process, but I'm also here for support. I'm at 1107 right across from the main office. I'm happy to help. Miss Little Cook will help us with our research, and she'll be helping along the way when we get to that portion of the personal project. And then, as I mentioned at the beginning, you'll have a staff member that's your supervisor. They're going to meet with you during designated advisory periods, and they're going to encourage you, provide feedback on your process. They're just a sounding board to you provide your ideas, and they give you some feedback and encouragement along the way. So your supervisor's role is to support and encourage you throughout the process. They provide feedback. They help you get unstuck when things don't go as planned. Your supervisor doesn't grade you, but they're providing you verbal feedback in those meetings and trying to help you move along and keep progressing through your project. And then they're going to meet with you during set advisory periods. So we'll have periods that are identified as supervisor meetings. And your first meeting with your supervisor is during your November 16th advisory period, and you'll get a pass to go to them during that period. So how do you know who your supervisor is? So we already put together supervisor and student teams. And so you can go into our Canvas classroom, and linked at the top, there's a supervisor lookout, and you can find the Google Sheet that has all the supervisors and the room number and their students. You can also find it hyperlinked in the document you'll be working on today called A.2 Project Proposal Checkpoint. And so you'll have who is your supervisor, and there'll be a link there where you can check out who's your supervisor and what's the room number during advisory. And as I mentioned, your first meeting with your supervisor is Tuesday, November 16th. You are going to focus on, and during that meeting, this 8.2 checkpoint, your project proposal that you're working on today in advisory. You should have that done and ready in time for that meeting with your first meeting with your supervisor. Your supervisor will be meeting with you and a couple other students who are at the same point during the personal project. And then there will also be 5 guiding questions. So you will have access. They're linked at the bottom of this document you're working on today. They're also in our Canvas classroom, and your supervisor will have a copy of these 5 guiding questions that they'll use throughout the meeting to kind of guide and facilitate your discussions. So the rest of advisory today: sign into the personal project classroom, complete 8.2 checkpoint, your project proposal. Remember, you'll need this form completed in time for your November 16th first supervisor meeting. And this one really just talks about what is your topic, your product, your learning goal that we just talked about. It has a little checklist that we went through to make sure your project is feasible. And then it just asks 2 questions about Why are you interested? What drove you or led you to doing this personal project? And if there are any ways that you're thinking about how you'll measure your success. So best of luck. If you need me again, I'm in 1107. I'm always happy to help. Thanks, guys. As I just explained, the rest of advisory students signed into our course and completed 8.2, the project proposal, and make sure you hit submit on that so you're all ready for your first supervising meeting on Tuesday, November 16th. Okay, at that meeting, just as a reminder, there'll be 5 guiding questions. They're at the bottom of your worksheet from today, but they're also in our module for you. And you'll go through those questions with your supervisor and a couple other students that they're supervising. And it's just a way to facilitate and help provide feedback on your project. I hope you guys found this helpful. Let me know, as always, if you have any questions. My name is Ms. Beecraft, and I'm here to support you. Thanks, guys.